Alright, everybody, it's Dead Feet, associate of LiveSocks if you know him. I have a request to make a small series from a friend or two, so that's what I'm going to be doing. And before I get started, just want to show you what I'm going to be playing. Crusader Kings 2, Lux Invicta. Yeah. As you can see, the Raj of India map has been updated, but I'll get more of that later. So a few disclaimers before I start. Primarily, there's going to be no gameplay in this prologue because I want to just lay out the groundwork for what the series is going to be and what's going on. Also, this is my first time making any YouTube video, so the pacing's weird or anything else is kind of off. Yeah, don't kill me. Also, some other things is that I'm going to be focusing on the roleplay aspect of this game as opposed to min-maxing like other players like Arumba does. But I'll get into more of that later. And I might make some Game of Thrones references because it's pretty similar to this game for those who don't know this series, Crusader Kings, so it might be a good bridge. Plus I like that series, so yeah. Okay, so what is Crusader Kings? Crusader Kings is a grand strategy game that's focused on politics. There is conflict and stuff, but it's more focused on the overall picture as opposed to like Total War games which have the real-time battles. There's none of that in this. It's also different from other Paradox games such as Europa Universalis and Hearts of Iron, in that it focuses on people. You can see I'm a person here, and that it is, because of that, it's more feudal. So a lot of the original game was based on Frankish feudalism, and I'll explain how that affects the game as opposed to playing as a nation. But basically, it means that your dynasty is what's most important. Right here, I am of the house Argiadi. If the house runs out of holdings, or if I don't have an heir or something, then the game will end. But technically, I can start out as like King of France, and then end up as like King of Poland or whatever. The actual land doesn't matter. They're just titles in this game, really. It's the characters that matter. And a lot of that is shown in the stuff like the succession and the dynasty focused gameplay, setting up marriages, making sure people like you, not so much the overall nation, but like other kings, your vassals, that kind of stuff. Now, what is Lux Invicta? Because I have a few hundred hours in Crusader Kings, so I have a certain understanding of the game, but Lux Invicta is something that's pretty interesting. So basically, it takes the actual game, the 1066 start date, when the Normans in the original game would be invading England, and so would Harold Hardrada, and it scraps all that, creates an overhaul alternate history setting. The best way to describe it is just think of it as the Dark Ages never ended. You got a lot of Germans, so like here in Carthage, you got some Germans, some Aryans, a lot of Germans in Spain. This guy's Muslim. So like yeah, these guys, German, Central German, they still believe in Germanic paganism. I'll show you the religions tab here. You can see there's a lot of religion everywhere. In the base game, this is all Catholic. This is all, actually all of this is Catholic. All this Orthodox, Muslim, Sunni, and Shiite. And even in the Old Gods expansion, where they have like more pagan religions, it's like all like Norse paganism, or they're like huge blocks. In this game, you can see they go really in depth into all the different heresies and local traditions, which is really nice. And they do the same thing with cultures too. Also, it's basically the realms are a lot smaller, so because of differences in religion and the smaller realms, it's generally going to be a lot more hectic. So yeah. The reason why it's called Lux Invicta, as you can see here, it's sort of Latin for the invincible light. The key players are going to be the Roman Empire, Imperium Romanum, Eastern Rome. They also have the original Western Rome, if you want to play them, and the other quote-unquote realm of light, which is right now the Zoroastrians. And as you can see, neither are really doing too well. Yeah. Eastern Rome has like this, that's it, and the Persians have this, the Zoroastrians. So I guess we'll just go through the tabs really quick. Basically, to play this game, you need to know what 3 words mean: de jure, de facto, and casus belli. De jure means officially, so what is mine. So when I go through the tabs, I'll go more to de jure. De facto is what is actually. So like, and this will come into play when you're like, if you're the de jure king of, I don't know, like, yeah, France again. Let's click here. Nope, that's not it. Yeah, if you're just de jure king of France, or Hispania, that's a better one. You're the emperor of Hispania. Then de jure, you should own all of this. This is your territory. But in actuality, it's all broken up, and you're gonna have to fight for that crap. And that will get into like claims and all that, like claims on various thrones. So, and then casus belli means cause for war. You can't declare war without a cause, and depending on your religion and your culture and just other people around, you can get different sorts of claims and casus bellis. Now, getting casus bellis to begin with is a large part of the game, especially in the original where everyone's Catholic, so you don't even have the holy war, the crusade against others. Okay, so these are the interface tabs right here, and here you have the terrain map. Terrain map just shows you terrain. It's not as detailed as Europa Universalis 4. In wintertime, it actually shows winter, but you know, still pretty. You'll see these big rivers here. That is rivers that Norsemen can travel on with their boats. And actually, the Lux Invicta team worked on a huge part of Africa, and they made the Nile, I believe, traversable. So you get your Norsemen down here, you can go through here, and you can go through like this almost proto Suez Canal. I think the Egyptian pharaohs actually worked out something like this to connect the Mediterranean to the Red Sea. I forgot what it's called. Okay, this is the independent realms. So this is basically the de facto map. This is who owns what in actuality. You can see this is us. We are the Duchy of, oh god, Thessaloniki, which will be one day become Macedonia, I hope. And this is what we own. This right here. Next one, diplomatic relations. Diplomatic relations shows how other people view you. So our own countrymen like us because this is our land, and you know, they're in favor of us, which sort of makes sense since we are right now the owners of most of the counties. We own 2 provinces, these 2 right now, and a vassal owns this one, and he likes us a good amount, likes us a fair amount. This is how the other Greek states view us. They're not real. Oh, that's us. They're not really in favor of us. You know, yeah. In Rajas of India, which is the latest expansion, they added a diplomacy reign because it wouldn't really make any sense for rulers in India to talk to rulers in Britannica. So basically, I think part of it's depend on technology. Depends on how far you can talk with other people. That might actually not be shown here. I think a lot of this stuff is just, yeah, it's just like no opinion, or they're out of the range. But so like, I'll show you for example. We'll go talk to this guy, the descendant of King Arthur. See, yeah, I can't interact with him because Rex Magnus of Cornovia is too distant to interact with. So that makes sense. So you got next, religion, which I showed you before. Now what's important is that this is the religion the normal, I guess, quote unquote, normal people have. It's not necessarily the religion of the ruler. Like you see right now, I am Alexandros Amonati, which is, I'll explain that later, but the realm I am in is, that's not us, the realm I am is Solar Imperial. This is our territory, and they're Solar Imperial, so there's going to be some strife. You can also see when you have these like dotted lines here, it means the ruler religion is different than the province religion. So over time it'll convert, and you can do other things like send your councilman to change it up, the religion, to speed up the process, the events, depending on whether you're zealous or not. I'll go over these traits in a bit. So, but you want some religious harmony. So you either want a high level of religious tolerance, which is part of the technology here. Yeah, probably in pluralism. Yeah, minus a opinion penalty for different religions, or you just make everyone your own religion and kill all the heathens or convert them. You know, the standard stuff. Culture shows all the cultures. We are Hellen, which is basically Greek. Most of it is most of our realm here is Romanin, which is Eastern Roman, which is like a mix of Greek and Roman. So they're in a cultural group, but not exactly the same. Economy shows taxes. So this guy is pretty rich, 46.6 gold per year, or I don't know, whatever the currency is. We're doing alright. This is our capital right here, 27, not that great. This is 35, better. And this is our vassals. Actually getting negative tax somehow. I don't know what he's doing. He's messed up. Okay, what's next? This is where the jure stuff comes in. These are the jure duchies. So there's a ranking. There's a title ranking system, and it goes from barons to counts to dukes to kings to emperors. So the lowest is barons. You can't play barons. They own basically think of them as single castles. Oh, they took away the nice portraits of like Greek pavilions and stuff. Oh well. But so like no, that he'd be a mayor. This guy here, he's a baron. He owns this little district inside of the county, but I own the county. You can only play from count and above. To be a count, you need to own at least one of these provinces, and basically you own the castle that is the capital of the province. I am a duke, which is, I'm basically one-upping that. This is where the de jure stuff starts to become important, because with specific counties you can only take that. As a duke, there's a, I guess you can say, an assigned plot of land that you are by rights able to own. So we're in the de jure duchies tab right now, and this is the duchy that by rights I am able to hold. Now we switch to independent realms, which is de facto. We see that I actually have it, so you know it's no big deal. But as you see the color changes here when I switch back and forth. So as you can see, Athens. This is basically Athens right here. They're supposed to, by right, de jure duchy, own this province, but in actuality, the king of Romania has it. Yeah, he owns it. So you can see, this guy owns it. He also owns the duchy to the Aegonian Isles. Oh, actually no, I lied. There's just a lot of purple. He's independent, so he does not own it. He owns it, but by right it should belong to Athens, and that's where like the casus belli come in, because they're gonna fight over this piece of land, because Athenians believe that they deserve it, but this guy's like, I'm not gonna give you land. So there'll probably be a war, a de jure war. That's one of the casus bellis, where basically they either force whoever owns this land to be a vassal of this guy, but since they're both dukes, you can't be a vassal of someone who is your tier rank. Like, only emperors can vassalize kings, which basically means they swore fealty. So they'll probably fight and kick this guy out. Then we have de jure kingdoms, as you can see here. And here we have glorious Macedon right here. So yeah, if I were to form the kingdom of Macedon, I would get claims on these lands, because I'm saying I'm king of Macedonia. The Macedonian king should own these lands, so I can fight for it. But he won't just give it to me, because him just giving me land, especially when he doesn't like me, is incredibly stupid. There's also like actual claims, like if you watch Game of Thrones or stuff, like the claim to the throne, and this is specifically you should own it. So if you go to war and you win this, you will get the land. It's not just de jure where you vassalize the guy who owns the land. It's you get it, like you kick the guy out. There's also holy wars. You can use casus belli, especially for me, because this is a very militaristic religion, where you basically say you know, the classic crusade or whatever, you basically take all land you occupy and you vassalize the rest of it within a kingdom of another religion. Obviously you can't call holy wars on people of your own religion. And then this game also had some other casus bellis, like sacred war, which is basically you go in, it's basically a war for glory, which you use for religious reasons. So you can use it to get piety, which you need to start the holy wars. There's slave raids, just a bunch of cool stuff like that. Oh yeah, and like excommunication. So like you can fight a war just to dispose of a guy, maybe get someone who's your friend on that throne, so he could be your ally. Okay, what else is there? So this is the de jure emperor. As you can see, there's the Imperium Romanum. So these are just like emperors. So if you get an emperor title, you can vassalize kings, and you get claims on all these land, de jure claims. You know, this is actual Rome, Hispania, France, what the hell? Oh, Gaulish France, Britannica, Holy Roman Empire. You know, all of Scandinavia, the Rus, Russia. Alright, this is revolt risks. Shows revolt risks. Now, you think that there'd be a lot more revolt risks, but generally it's pretty good. Yeah, so that's cool. Dynasties shows what house owns what land. It's useful if like a dynasty has 2 kings, so you could see, oh, this dynasty owns that, this dynasty owns that. In this game, it's not really going to happen because they want to push in a lot of bloodlines and stuff, which I'll get into more later. So you have to worry about it. I'm basically, the House Argead only owns this land. I mean, we have a cousins, the actual House Argead that we're based off of, that owns Crete. I don't know how to pronounce it, but yeah, when I just go over my character, we'll talk about that. But generally speaking, 1 dynasty per realm for now. Opinions, yeah, more stuff. Direct vassals. This becomes really useful when you get a big realm, because independent realm shows you whoever's independent. So like if we own all of this land here, it'll just show us as 1 realm. But once we go to independent direct vassals, sorry, it'll show who the vassals of the rulers are. So if we split up our like the land into provinces, then we can see who owns which provinces. Don't worry about it too much now. It's only going to be useful when the realm gets bigger.